So if you're doing fabulous, if you will, go ahead and let's confirm that you have everything that you need for today. You have your squeezy bottle that has warm water or cool water, it does not matter. You have your bowl with the liner in it, and this has warm water. You have your salt. You have your salt. Okay, this is a jelly bead salt. This is the regular salt. You have a personal care wipe, a napkin, and your tabletop cover. I did pull out, but you do not need your journal. Tomorrow we are going to be taking our test over the anatomy of the nail. Well, the board is dirty, huh? You're going to be coloring and labeling the parts of the nail. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm also going to be giving you the nail tips that you're going to need for your wedding nail project. Now, tomorrow, also due is all of your work. So at the end of the 6 weeks, so vocabulary, color wheel, transfer, nail, the little nail sticks that we did the eyes on, what else? Vocabulary, bookwork, all of the things due tomorrow, okay? So please make sure that you're checking your grade books in Skyward. Now, I have found mistakes, okay? I have put zeros where people have turned in their work. So please check it, even though you think, oh, it's fine. No, check it to make sure that I did not make any mistakes, okay? All right, so, I think my water's too hot. Okay. Today we're going to be doing the jelly soak. So what you do on the hands, remember you can do on the feet, okay? So, okay. This is what the packet looks like, okay? This little thing here, okay? This you can get, oh, there's hair. This you can get, I get these in big bulk quantities of like 50 of packets. There's, I think it's lavender, charcoal, green tea, and I think vanilla or something like that. But there's different scents, okay? So for this, if you were to buy the packet individually, Amazon or the nail supply stores, they're about $3 or $4 for the packet, okay? So what I do, okay, this size bowl with this much water, you need about half an ounce, okay? In here, so what I do is I cut them apart, but in here, the number one, that's the, these are the crystals, okay? Do you know Orbeez and how you put Orbeez in water and they absorb, but it takes 24 hours to do so? Imagine that concept, but take an Orbeez before you put it in water and mash it into powder, and that's kind of what this is. I'm not saying that's what it is, I'm saying kind of, right? So when you put this in hot water or warm water, not cold water, it works with cold water, but not as good and not as fast. But when you put this in, it becomes a big, don't do it yet, but it becomes a big jelly, mushy, it's like gritty mashed potatoes. It sounds gross, but it feels really good, and it feels great in the toes, because imagine digging your toes in the sand, but instead of it being gritty, it's nice and soft and mushy. It's really cool. So, it's a really fun service. It's called the hand jelly soak, or the foot jelly soak. You will be doing your feet, but not now, but we're doing hands today, okay? So, it's about $3, let's say, okay? So, in here, when I cut it up, these are the beads, and this is salt. Now, they call it melting mineral, and it's so fancy. It's salt. That's literally all it is, okay? Because the salt dissolves it. So from water, it's going to turn to jelly. Then from jelly, we're going to kind of turn it back into water. Okay, not 100%, but it kind of goes back into water. All right, so in this packet, if I'm doing a hand treatment, which is, this is the bowl I use, and I use about half an ounce, I get 10 of these. So when I pour this out, I get 10 of these. Okay, if I charge, the service is 15 minutes long and each service is $5. If I charge $5, okay, let's do the math. I get 10 of these and I do 10 clients and I charge them $5 each. 10 times 5 is 50. So I just made $50 out of one packet. Does that make sense? So if I spend $3 on this, I made my money. I made my $3 back, and then I made, what is it, 47? Yeah, dollars profit. Okay. So when you're purchasing your product, pay attention to how many services you get out of the container and how much you're going to charge. Make sure you get your money back, and then see how much your profit is. If you're not getting your money back, you're definitely not making profit. So then either charge more or buy something cheaper as far as your product goes. Okay. So the number one, the step one is the salt. You use half an ounce or one of these little bits for the hands. For the feet, you need 2 because your bowls are bigger. Maybe even a little bit more. It just depends. Have to use it with hot water, warm water. You get 10 out of the packet. The second bit literally is salt. This. Now this is a 2-ounce container. It's not filled all the way, but pretty close. You need this much salt to make this little bit dissolve back into water. Not 100%, about 90% or so, but you need salt, which is what this is. Look how little salt. This is probably about that much. That's not enough. This is not enough salt to dissolve all of this. So anytime you buy these, you go to Walmart, buy you a big old thing of salt, and then just have salt handy, okay? Because only salt will dissolve it. So, all right, let's go ahead and take your phone out because this is a really cool deal. People love to take pictures of it and video it and do all the things. So get your phones ready should you choose and want to. If not, it's okay. When you're marketing yourself for Salon Day, you can put this little video or picture out or whatever, save it on your phone so that you can market people. Say, hey, I'm doing a hand jelly soak, $5, 15 minutes, book your appointments today. Okay, so you have content that you can use to market yourself and your salon and your services, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to place our salts and we're going to put them in our water. And this is where you want to go ahead and video, or you want to take a picture. It's up to you. So if you just take your fingers and kind of fluff it around in there, give it a minute. The warmer the water is, the faster it will work. But you're going to start seeing that you're going to have some beads. Okay? You're going to see those beads. And the water is going to start to thicken. And it takes some time, but the water will disappear. And your jelly will take over your bowl. It takes time. Again, if it's cold water, it doesn't work as fast. Now, if you take a look at mine now, let's pretend that time has passed. Mine right now has a lot of water in it still. That means I have too much water in my bowl. Say it's been 10 minutes, okay? So that's how you know. Now, if your jelly, let me try to squeeze some of this water out of this one. If your jelly turns white, kind of like this, and the whole thing looks that way, that means you don't have enough water in your bowl, and your beads need more water. So you can pour more water in there out of your little bowl, out of your container. So it should kind of look like this, a little bit of the white on the rims of the beads, but you shouldn't see any water in there. It should just be jelly. Okay? Once you've done your recording, you're going to go ahead and put both your hands in there and just enjoy it. Just let your hands soak. So I have asked the science teachers, I've taken it to them, and I've asked them to explain the chemical reaction, if we can do a collaboration or lesson. They've not gotten back to me since like 5 years ago, and that's okay. But whatever chemical reaction it is, the beads absorb the hot water and turn into the jelly. Kind of like a diaper, right? You know, the diapers do that, right? kind of like that. Kind of like the Orbeez, kind of same concept. Okay. So, this is warm, and you're going to notice as your hands are in there, you're going to feel the warmth. So the jelly does retain the warmth. Okay? I know it's kind of hard to get your phone after you get your hands in there, but you'll get it back in just a little bit. Okay? So it's nice, it's warm, it's relaxing. It feels really good like in the winter months because it's nice and warm, especially on the feet. It feels so good on the feet. And so it's nice and warm. It's a soak. Now, it is not an antibacterial soak. So as our hand soak is, and it kills the bacteria, the germs on the client's hands, this does not. So regardless, you always make them wash their hands and sanitize their hands when they come in. But if you're wanting to remove the bacteria, you can offer them a soak first. Dump that water out because there's salt in it, remember? So get rid of that water, refill your bowl, and then come in and then offer them the jelly soak. They don't have to get both, but they can. But regardless, make sure you have them wash and sanitize their hands. Not only is it really nice, it's aromatherapy because this particular one is green tea. We have, like I said, lavender, we have charcoal, and I believe the other one was, vanilla or something like that. There are different scents, okay? But this particular one is just green tea. It's just very nice. Green tea is anti-inflammatory, so that's great. Anyway, so the other thing that this particular service does is it's not a scrub, but it is a soft, gentle exfoliation. It's not rough, so it's not going to get rid of all the dead skin that you have on your hands, but it does get rid, it's a gentle exfoliation. So make sure you tell your client to play with it, to rub their hands in it, and their whole hand should be in it. So you can just kind of mirror or mimic with your hands, and don't stick your hands in there for them, but just kind of mirror and show them what they should be doing. So they can do soft circular rotations on the back of their palms. A lot of times they'll take it and they'll put it into little balls and they'll play with it. When it's on their feet, they will dig their toes like you're digging your toes in the sand. It feels so good in between your toes. And it's fun. It's just a really unique experience. It's very popular, and it's different. A lot of nail salons don't offer this simply because if you don't do the after cleanup well, it will clog your sinks. Okay. So your client, when they get this service done, they should soak for 10 minutes. Okay, they're going to soak for 10 minutes. It's just a little bit. So we're going to let the time pass as I just give a little bit more information. Now, pay attention to how messy your table gets, right? Some of you are like, that's fine. You know that if you make a mess, you got to clean it, and you know what it takes to clean in here, okay? Your clients, they don't know. And so the clients are like, and they're like, there's mess everywhere. Look at my hands. Imagine me being a little kid. What do you think the little kid's going to do? They're going to shake their hands and jelly's going to go everywhere. Which it does. So I don't recommend this for children. We've done it on feet for kids, and then they do this. And they kick their feet, and it is such a mess. It's so bad. So just tell your clients, try to keep the beads in the water or in the bowl, and keep the water in the bowl, and offer it to adults and not children, just because it's just a mess, okay? But it's so fun, it's super easy to offer. Okay, let's pretend that we've been sitting in here for 10 minutes. So you're going to take and you're going to ask your client, just try to get as much of the jelly off as your hands as possible. Now, it does not ruin jewelry, okay? It does not ruin jewelry. It does not metal jewelry. If your watch is not waterproof, obviously if you get it wet, right, you mess it up. When you do the charcoal one that is black, it's not like solid black like my shirt, but it's got a tint of gray in it. If you get it on threaded jewelry, you might stain your threaded jewelry like an off gray color, okay? So just FYI, but it doesn't harm anything. Okay, so once I get excuse me, as much off as possible, I have my client ask her, and I do this to my hand so she can do the same, or he can do the same. On the feet, obviously you can't. You're going to take your hand, oh man, I didn't close it. And you're going to take your squeezy bottle, and you might need to stand up if you need to. Oh, I'm going to make a mess. You might need to stand up if you need to. Oh man, I'm going to have to pour mine because I can't close my hands are too slippery. I can't close my bottle. So I'm going to pour, but you guys use your squeezy bottle. So you ask your client to take their hand like so, and their fingertips are pointing downward, and you're going to squeeze your bottle. I'm going to have to pour, which is going to waste my water. I'm probably not going to get all through it, but that way the water and all of the jelly will land in the bowl. And just try to get them to rinse their hands as much and as best as possible. Now, the jelly does not damage the nails or any nail designs, but it does get underneath the nails, so just FYI. Make sure you do both hands. If you need to stand up, you can. It's better to use the squeezy bottle and the little spout, because if you pour, you put too much water back in your bowl and you waste your water and you're not able to get through rinsing. Well, I just couldn't close my bottle. My hands were all full of the jelly. Take your napkin and you're going to wipe your hands, or your personal care towelette, and you're going to wipe your hands. Okay, like I said, very messy. Okay, now what you're going to do, and if you wanted to, this is the part where you can take your phone out too, because it's kind of fun to record. Open up your salts. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take the salt and you're going to sprinkle the salt over the jelly. And what's going to happen is that the salt is going to create a chemical reaction, and it's going to melt the jelly back into water. Now, you don't have a spatula, so I would just take the lid and just swish it around. You're going to throw the lid away anyway. You can have a spatula with you, and you're going to see that it's turning back into water. Now, there is still jelly in there. Now, don't be fooled. There's still jelly in there. But it begins to turn into water. Back into liquid. Alright, so you're going to give it some time. You need to give it time to turn back into water. Now, if it is that you see that there's still a lot of jelly and time has passed, and you've already put salt in it, that just means you need more salt. Now, remember I told you that this is not enough salt to get rid of all of this. It's not. You probably need like 6 of these, or like 6 of the little containers to get rid of all of the salt, all the jelly. There's really not enough salt, okay? When you do the feet, the pedicure, you usually take 2 or 4 of these salt containers to dilute the jelly back into the water. All right, so remember I said that this is not the most popular service in a salon, because if you don't do it right, it clogs your sinks. It does. So you want to make sure that before you or your client wash their hands, there is absolutely no jelly on the hands. Or like, for example, my bowl, my little bottle has jelly on it. I can't have that. I gotta go get it off in the trash can. One day, one time is not a big deal. But there's 12 of us, let's say, in the salon doing these services. At the end of the day, my sink will be clogged and I gotta call a plumber. Okay, this doesn't go away. So right now, yours should be like water or getting there. Okay. This does not go down the drain. What we do is we take it carefully with a friend, because the door locks behind you. We go out through the salon entrance. We find the dirt in the flower beds, the brown part of the ground, and we dump it in the ground. Now I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna use this little bowl. Okay. I'm not going to stand up and then just go like this and dump it out, because when I do that and it falls, it's going to get all over. And if you got someone's toe jams in here, now you're going to smell like feet all day because it's all over you. So we go find the dirt, the brown part, and we go squat down and we pour it out, and we quickly step back, because the way it is there, it's kind of downhill and it's gonna come to you. The reason why we don't just dump it in the grass is, if I were to leave this for a week, the water's going to evaporate, and then I'm going to be left with the dust of the jelly. That takes a long time. But if I take this out and I pour it in the grass, sure, the sun is good, the water's going to evaporate, I'm going to be left with the powder. But if it rains tomorrow, or in the morning how it's dewy outside and the grass is wet, then tomorrow morning when I walk in, there's little mounds of jelly where y'all dumped it out. And then that kills the grass. And then when someone walks on it, they slip. Okay? So we dump it out in the flower beds. It hides it better there anyway. Okay? No one walks on those. And if it rains, it doesn't kill the grass. It's fine. Okay? Most importantly, don't let this go down your drain. That's it. Okay? So, you take it, go with a friend, you're going to go dump it out carefully, take your napkin with you, bring the plastic over, and put the napkin under so you don't drip all the way back, and then you're going to clean up and trash is trash, make sure you got all the jelly from the bottles in the trash can, and then you're done. 15 minutes, $5, the client soaks either hands or feet for a minimum of 10 minutes. Before you pull them out. Questions? Okay, that is all I have for you. If you will go ahead, take a friend, open the door, make sure you don't get left behind.